quite a turbulent couple of days when you take a look at Macau casinos, property stocks, Evergrande, the like.
All right, well, we've got Sri Lanka's new central bank governor saying that he will soon unveil a roadmap to tackle depleted foreign exchange reserves and looming debt repayments. In short, the country is running out of cash. Ajit Cabral was also governor from 2006 until 2015, joining us regularly at that point. Now he joins us again, exclusively from Colombo, for his first interview since retaking office this week. Governor Cabral, give us a sense of the mire that Sri Lanka finds itself in and whether you're taking over, essentially, a poison chalice.
Well, you might say there is some poison in the chalice, but I must also say that there are a great deal of strengths as well in our economy, which we should use now in order to get us into a new, a more stable situation. We have seen this kind of situation in the past as well, but I'm confident that if we have all the stakeholders working together with clear and definite goals, we would be able to get there. The central bank has a very important role to play right now, especially in times of turbulence, as you all know, to give clear guidance and leadership to all the different stakeholders. I know the different stakeholders have different contrary views as well as contrary goals and expectations, but our job would be to make sure that we have a goal, a way forward that would be the one to take so that the country can go into stability. As you quite rightly mentioned just a little while ago, Rish, we are going to unveil a roadmap in the next few days, which will take into consideration the different stakeholders and their expectations so that we can give them a clear guidance as to how they should move in these turbulent times. I'm confident that this could be done, and we are looking forward to the challenge as well in a way.
So you're saying we could get this in a couple of days, this roadmap, Governor. Can you flesh this out a little bit more? What are some of the key areas and policies that it's likely to cover?
Yes, the first and the most important part would be the stability. We want to give the markets the expectations that we would be in a position to deal with all eventualities. There has been a perception gap in our country, and that has been somewhat worrisome. But I believe if we give clear guidance and leadership to take the country to that position, we would be able to meet with this challenge. The second would be to ensure that the effects of the pandemic as well as the lockdown are also curtailed as much as possible. That's going to be also a tough proposition, but I think if we give guidance at that point also, it will be very helpful. We have seen 8% growth, of course, on a very low base of last year, happening this year. So the 8% growth is a good start for me to take office and go forward. The inflation is still in subdued areas. The debt as well as the foreign exchange situation is challenging. But I believe that with the new steps that we are introducing, particularly the steps of non-debt inflows, as well as G2G arrangements that we are now pursuing, we would be in a position to deal with that challenge as well. So growth, stability will go together. The forex as well as the debt would be matters that we would give a lot of attention to. And also at the same time, we got to ensure that the economy could go forward with some clarity. That is also very important. I have been a proponent that the lockdowns don't work too well, and I've been making the request that the lockdowns be curtailed as much as possible, of course, with the health guidelines being adopted. So let's see how we can go forward. And if we can, I think the stability message would go very quickly to the markets.
Governor, this is David. I wanted to ask you, because you brought up the concept of stability. It brings to mind events about 10 years ago in Europe, when you were central bank governor still, of course, of Sri Lanka the first time around. Mario Draghi came out and said he was prepared to do anything needed to bring stability to the Eurozone. I guess more tangible questions to you. What tools do you have to give confidence to these markets that nothing is going to happen to the government's finances, including things like maybe printing money or even buying some assets?
Yes, you're absolutely right. I think any central bank governor would keep the goal of stability at the top of his agenda. And I don't blame them for it. I think that's the right way to go. And I will follow that same path as well. At the same time, what I would like to see happening is to ensure that the message of stability goes through, because sometimes the expectations as well as the concerns that people have can also bring destability. First, the message as well. And then with that, we got to ensure that each stakeholder is kept aware as to what they should be doing. And here I talk about the exporters, the importers, the borrowers, the lenders, the government, the people, those who are remitting money, those who are receiving money. All these people have different interests. And we got to ensure that those interests are satisfied in some way, not all. But when so doing, we'll find that there is a certain expectation as well as a direction that we are providing to the economy. So I think stability comes from the expectations being managed as well as certain steps being taken by the central bank, which shows that we are, in a way, putting our money where our mouth is. You mentioned about money printing. Yes, that has been resorted to by many central banks all over the world. But all central bankers know that that would be a situation that we got to gently pull back on. And we also would be looking at the ways and means by which that could be done, because I don't want to see a situation where it can be damaging for the future. Right now, it's not a big issue because we have been able to sustain the economy in a certain way that we can go forward even with that situation. But going forward, we all know that we need to address that, and steps have to be taken to address that. And we will announce that also in the roadmap that we are going to have in the next few days.
Governor Cabral, just to clarify, because I think that's an important point if the market misunderstands that, are you saying that you're actively considering doing asset purchases and printing money?
Not really. I'm saying that it has happened. The printing money has already happened. And my job would be to pull that back gently without causing any pain to the economy, without causing an undue stress to the economy. And that is something that we got to understand that we got to do. But doing so, I am keen that it does not put any additional pressure. So actually what I'm saying is, David, the reverse of what you thought, and I'm glad that you asked the question. So by doing so, we are giving a very clear message to the markets that we are also going to be conscious of inflation being curtailed in the future, so that inflation expectations are not in any way aroused as a result of the current situation. The pandemic has caused this situation where treasury bills had to be purchased by the central bank, which many countries have done. But we all know that that's not a permanent solution. That is a temporary solution, which we have all resorted to, many central banks. But as to how we ease that through, we'll need a definite plan about the timing, about the quantity, and that would be another important challenge that we would have to face in the next few months and in the next few months.
Now, Governor, you're going to publish this roadmap, of course, and you know you're in a bit of an invidious position here because you've got inflation at what, about 6%. You should be perhaps easing really in order to have more liquidity in the system and therefore help the average person ultimately. But with inflation running like that, you're almost in a position where you should be raising interest rates. So how do you stop inflation from getting out of control? That's key here.
My predecessor, Rish, gave a signal that we are ready to deal with inflationary pressures, and then interest rates were increased just a few weeks ago. Going forward, I will also be keeping a very close tab on that, because I know, as you quite rightly mentioned, the expectations as well as the damage that it could cause. So the timing is what is important, and we would have